Greetings. Agame Akoma, Akoma Intuaso, M Akoma Womu, and Nia Akoma Montsho. We do the art and science of Black love culture at the Akoma House Initiative, culturally based counseling and consulting, and wanted to talk about the delusions of loyalty and respect in Black love relationships. So let me say at the outstart that this may be an unpopular opinion, and as often we have an interdependent approach, Nawasha and I, when we deal with Black love relationships. We are extremely disenchanted with all the soundbite bros and sisters that are out here in the relationship space, who are giving sound bites to relationships, viral videos, and the one good thing is that they're raising the conversation of relationships, which is a good thing if it's useful, if there are solutions to our challenges, and that is not happening. So it just fuels what is popularly being called the gender war, and it actually lessens our ability to be successful in relationships. So that's problematic, especially because the gender war, I'm convinced, is not created by Black people. It is an extension of the oppressive culture, the over culture, as Sister Soleil says, the over culture that pushes us down and oppresses us. So I don't support the misogyny or the misandry, the bashing of Black men and women in any form or fashion. Yes, there is space and appropriateness for us to critique one another. Yes, there is relevancy in highlighting what our problems. But if we are solution-based, and if we are skilled, qualified, and mission-driven to impact relationships, we're going to be solution-based and not just talk about problems. This is what separates the people that are effective from all the people who are talking. So we say often the 5 things that you need to have when you're listening to anybody in relationships. Number 1, they need to be in relationships over 7 years, happy relationships. Number 2, they actually need to like Black people, because that is a rarity for a lot of the people who are talking. In fact, they are talking because they're hurt, disenchanted, angry, and hateful toward the complement sex. So the person's talking to you that you listen to, A, they need to be in these relationships for more than 7 years. B, they actually need to like the complement sex. So this is women who actually love Black men who actually love Black women. Because when we love each other, the way we think, speak, and act toward one another is different. And for all the people who say it doesn't matter how I'm saying the truth, you're insane. And you can't illustrate that in anywhere else in your life. So that's a fallacy. That's a delusion. But then number 3, they got to understand this system that is oppressing us. Why this system exists, what it is, the 4 elements of it, and the 12 areas of human activity that it affects us in. If you don't understand that, you will always confuse yourself and others, because this system is the greatest challenge to our love, right? To our love to the thriving of the art and science of Black love culture. Number 4, these people got to have a credential besides social media. You know, we're living in a time now where it's disgusting. Nawasha told me, and some clients last night we were working with, she said that some comedian or some person on social media said podcast mics should cost $100,000, because if they did, then all these people wouldn't be sitting out here with a podcast mic acting like they're elevating the culture and they're just spewing talking points or sharing opinions. Not that your opinion doesn't have validity in social spheres, but when we're in the condition we're in as a people, some of the people who are quote unquote leaders and have hundreds of thousands of people following them, you have a responsibility to do something more than what we're doing, right? And so that's problematic, right? So A, You got to be in a relationship more than 7 years that's happy. B, you actually got to love black people. C, or number 3, you got to thoroughly understand the system that is threatening our success, because it's our greatest threat and it's actually effective in what it's doing. 4th, D, you got to have a credential outside of the fact that you just want to say something and have people listening to you. And you got a phone or whatever. I'm in a car right now on my phone. It got to be just more than that, though. And then finally, 5th, and most importantly, whatever your solutions are, they have to be something that can be transferred without your cult of personality, meaning that if you have techniques and strategies that actually work for people, they need to be able to be transferred. Yes, you need to be compensated for your value and your work, but they're not necessarily attached to your personality. It's just something that works. And so it can be transferred outside of you. So those 5 things have to be in place before you listen to anyone who is talking about relationship solutions, problem solutions, status, whatever. And so I deem myself to be one of those people. I deem me and Nawasha as clinical therapists, as people who've been married for 24 years and have worked with thousands of black people in many continents on this earth, right? We deem ourselves to have those 5 characteristics. And some people got them, right? And so there are others out there. We're not the only ones, obviously. That would be insane to assert, right? But a lot of the people talking are not that. So what I want to talk about today is delusions, loyalty and respect delusions. And I want to be balanced because there are a lot of women, understandably so, seeking, asking for, pleading for, and being disenchanted about loyalty and lack of loyalty. Similarly, there are a lot of men that are pleading, asking for, and being disenchanted about the lack of respect in relationships. And so these 2 things are like parallel. Talking to black people, thousands of people around the world in 16 different countries, what I see is black women want this reverence and loyalty. Black men want this appreciation and respect. And neither one of these desires is incorrect. Neither one of these desires is unreasonable. Neither one of these desires is unfathomable to ask of your partner. But there's an inherent challenge. And this is where quickly, if you know us in the art and science of black love culture and having a culturally based perspective, this is where this conversation will become unpopular opinion from here on out. There is an inherent problem. There is a reason why it is very difficult in this space and time for women to get this kind of attention and loyalty, this reverence. And there is a problem why black men are not getting this appreciation and respect. And this is a proverbial elephant in the room, black people. This is that part of the conversation where a lot of us disengage because we just don't want to hear that black stuff. But truth is truth. And truth doesn't beg endearment. It just is what it is, right? The state of our relationship status is a cultural phenomenon. It's not a money phenomenon. It's not merely a psychological phenomenon. It's not merely an educational phenomenon. It is all of those things and more, the composite of a bunch of things put into one. So whether it's economics, entertainment, education, fashion, food, health, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and war, all of those 12 areas of human activity make up what we call culture. And culture is a group value system. Here is the reason that it is extremely difficult to get loyalty and reverence, black woman, to get appreciation and respect, black man, is because we together, whether we're unified or interdependent, so we think, or independent, we are interdependent. But whether we think we are independent or we're part of a unit or a group, we are all being oppressed. And so because we are being oppressed, what is discernible from our mates, potential mates, and our groups is that there is a seemingly, I'm using this word seemingly, there is a seemingly greater force, something that is greater than what we're demonstrating, that is worthy of the loyalty and respect. This is the unpopular opinion, right? This is what it is, if you could follow me. For example, black women. No one is going to be loyal to a woman. No one is going to have reverence to a woman if she is not herself. Her imagery, her style, her appearance, her demeanor is the modeling of a woman who is oppressing her. Because what that means is that in her mind, whether it's conscious or subconscious, whether it's nurtured, because it's not her nature. Her nature is she's the greatest woman on earth. But it's nurtured into her and conditioned into her and educated into her that to be other than herself is how she will become more accepted and advance in a society that is oppressing her nature. So she chooses to wear her hair in a way. And of course, I'm not talking about all of us. And I'm not even indicting the women who do this. I'm attempting to explain why it's difficult to be loyal to a woman who's saying in her thought, speech, and action, there is another woman that is above me. How could her man then be loyal to her when that other woman is also available? It's not going to happen. Similarly to men, we want appreciation and respect for what we're doing in the world and who we are, but we're being oppressed by a group of men that are, in actual fact, genetically, historically, socially, and morally weaker than us. Now, let that resonate for a second. You want to be respected at the top of the hill, but somebody who's historically, scientifically, socially, and morally weaker than you is oppressing you. So the parallel would be like if you look in junior high, everybody likes the girl who is the most beautiful or is the standard of beauty for all the men. She's the most coveted. And we know through life progression, sometimes that's not always the best choice. But for the sake of argument, what I'm suggesting is who gets the most attention and loyalty. Similarly, on the other side of the aisle, the boys who get the most respect, whether he's always the most good looking or not, but he's the one who has the most integrity or wins the most, right? And so this becomes a value system that we advocate. So now when you project that over a period of time and you're looking at the dynamics that we're in, women who are showing us that not only white women are superior to them, but white men a lot of times who, pay their salaries and things like that, and they got to work and they got to live, so I'm not begrudging them that. Again, I'm just explaining what is happening. She's saying through her actions, it's a man and a woman that are superior to me. But I want you to be loyal to me, even though those people, men and women, are available to my man to mate with. Similarly, on the other side of the aisle with men, men are saying, I want this appreciation and respect, but there are women and men who are oppressing me that are superior to me, and they are available to my women. And so this juxtaposition and this cross cultural dynamic is creating it. It is the seed of why we don't have the level of respect and appreciation that we should have for our men, and it is the reason why we don't have the reverence and loyalty to our women, because there is an illusion of there is an option that is superior, that I don't just say is superior, that my actual potential partner is demonstrating is superior to them. So now if that option is available to me, why would I be loyal to you? This is the dynamic that a lot of people don't want to deal with. And a part reason that they don't want to deal with is the number 3 reason in the five things that I said you should find from anybody that you listen to. We don't understand this system that is oppressing us fully. We know aspects of it when we see it. So I'm not saying we're oblivious to it, but we try to dismiss it as this is not the most important thing in relationships, and I challenge anybody to show me something that is more important than this in relationship. This is the sole reason that we're culturally based, because there is nothing more important than this in relationships. Black man, you can't have all the respect in the world and a weaker man is beating you. Nobody respects a loser. I'm not saying we're losers, hear me, so don't misquote me. I'm not saying that we're loser, but the perception is that we're losing. Nobody is going to respect that. Black woman, nobody is going to be loyal to a woman if beauty and femininity is the standard, when you're saying by your dress, by your hair, by your loyalty to where you work and get your money, somebody else is superior to you. If that person that's superior to you is available to me, why would I be loyal to you? This is the challenge that many people who talk about relationships, it's the proverbial elephant in the room. They don't want to deal with it. They want to pretend that's some black stuff that we can just put to the side. But look at us. It is only when we lost our cultural value system that we got to 8 out of 10 of us are unmarried now and unmated. When marriage was illegal and punishable by death during chattel slavery, we were married 8 out of 10. It was the exact 180 degrees. 8 out of 10 of us were married, even though we could be killed for being married. We still had a value on it because culturally we valued it. Now, I know a lot of people that talk about relationships, they don't want to deal with this issue. They will talk about the phenomenon on a surface level because we're black people, and black men essentially want to be with black women, and black women want to be with black men, and black women, rightfully so, desire loyalty and reverence. Black men, rightfully so, desire appreciation and respect. But if you going out here in the world every day and this other person is dominating and oppressing you, you actually haven't earned it. Everybody is worthy of respect. Everybody is worthy of appreciation. But the people who get it are the people who earn it. And many of us have aspirational ideation of ourselves, like what we want to be, what we want to do. Nothing wrong with that. I advocate that. There are actually studies that show sometimes the more delusional you are in your focus, the more you are able to achieve what you strive to achieve. So have aspirations for yourself that are of the highest level. Demand respect. You can't demand appreciation, but demand respect. If you're a brother, you deserve appreciation and respect, brother. But are you actually earning that? Not in your individualism, because people say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that. But the image of the black man does not receive appreciation and respect because he's being oppressed by a lesser man. And he don't seem to have, on a group scale, solutions. Women, you are deserving of admiration and loyalty. But are you earning it? Some women say, well, I don't cheat and I don't do this and I don't do. But everywhere we go, we see women that want to look like another woman. Everywhere we go, we see women showing a level of loyalty and respect to a group of men that are oppressing them and their children, but they're doing that because they pay salaries, etc., etc. I understand it. Again, don't misquote me. I'm not saying you got to walk off your job or none of that. So what I'm saying, though, is I'm giving you the deep subconscious psychological reason why respect and loyalty is hard amongst a group of people that are being oppressed. So our solutions have to be, in order for us to elevate our cultural status in terms of black love relationships and to get the loyalty and reverence, the admiration and respect, we have to come together to dismantle the system. It is the number one priority that we should be focused on. Very few people that talk about relationships are talking like that. Because A, they don't understand the system, so they can't even give you real tangible solutions. And the solutions are not even grandiose. They're things that you can do within your own life, within your own house, right? So you don't even have to get out here on the front line and spill bloodshed, not at this point. But there are many things you could do that we are neglecting to do, but then we are beating it like saying that men, we want appreciation and respect. Women, we want reverence and loyalty. Statistically, historically, socially, you should be seeing it's not going to happen while these two dynamics are simultaneously happening. So we have solutions, and we're one of the people that have solutions. In the Black Love School, we have a class called the global system, Black love culture versus the global system of racism, white supremacy. And in it, we go through what both of these systems actually are in their characteristic nature, how they operate, and then techniques you could utilize to dismantle both. You could go get it right now and watch it and do the assignments from it. It's an audio video course like all the courses are. And then we do come together and do the live calls and discuss it. We have those same strategies that we can hone down even more in your individual life in our sessions, right? In our individual sessions that are on the way out. So I'll put some links here about that class in the Black Love School, and there's many others in the over 50 classes that are in there, and about the link so that we could come together if you so desire to get specific strategies. Because see, we don't give relationship advice, right? Like a lot of people are doing. We give the actual success strategies that have been tested and proven with thousands of people in multitude of places that actually work. But many of us, even on a respect level, we want the most valuable stuff for free. And because we're in a spectator-hater generation where we've been conditioned to just watch YouTube and podcasts and people talk and viral videos, and we think that we can glean strategies from someone just talking. And most of the people don't have solutions anyway. And that's what the problem is. So, practical references for this, and then I'll close, is that, so first, let me talk to the men and say, let's take something like basketball, right? You know, everybody in basketball have falling into the Michael Jordan and LeBron James debate. And it really isn't a debate. LeBron James is off the charts with what he's doing, but the greatest basketball player of all time is Michael Jordan, right? So you can debate me on that. But, you know, it's not just about the endless number of stat lines and I won't even reduce LeBron to endless stat lines, but I will say that is what he is getting in the conversation for, all the records that he's breaking. But this is a game of losing and winning. And the person who wins in a decisive, who wins the most decisively and the most consistently with the greatest winning percentage has to be considered the best from my matrix. Now, other people say what they say. You broke records, you did all-time leading scorer, you about to, which I think is going to be amazing and I want to live to see it, you're about to be the first NBA player to play in the league with your son. But let's juxtapose what I'm saying. And this is an unconventional conversation in this Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate, but it illustrates the point. I'm going to juxtapose three people. And I want you to think about who's the greatest and who's the most worthy of respect. This is going to throw you off now. We have Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, Washington Wizards. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers again, Los Angeles Lakers. And I want you to juxtapose them next to, check this out, Ice Cube. Why Ice Cube? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, for all the greatness that they executed on the court, for all the aha moments and the highlight reels that they have provided that will go for perpetuity, none of them became owners. Now, they've coached teams, they've done incredible different things, and in their right, I'm not taking anything from them as men. But Ice Cube has done something that has never been done before in professional sports. It's this: a black man invented a league. He didn't just own a team as we looking at Michael Jordan as part owner of the Charlotte Hornets or Magic Johnson, the LA Sparks, or Jay-Z, the Brooklyn Nets. Ice Cube actually created his own league. And he owns it. And if you doubt what I'm saying, look at when we talk about Magic Johnson, when we talk about Jay-Z, when we talk about Michael Jordan, and I'm sure LeBron will join that company soon once his playing is over, they're all minute minority owners. They're not full owners of none of these teams. They're minute minority owners, and other than being figureheads and ticket sale instigators, they're not really in control of anything. And so the oppressive systems ingratiates them. If they clap, look at this, Jay-Z's waving, he's at the game, the owner. And he owns like one pore on the skin of a person of this and can't affect really anything that's happening. Versus Ice Cube, who owns the league. Not a team, but the entire league. You can see the difference of the way the system reacts to Ice Cube. It's all kind of limitation. It's all kind of lockout. It's all kind of oppression that he's receiving, because what he's actually doing could destabilize his oppressor. I give him the ultimate respect and a greater respect than Michael Jordan or LeBron James, although he never played. If you can follow that, you can follow that. If you can't, let's talk about it. Again, I'm talking about what would actually make you appreciate it and respect it within your relationship dynamic. For sisters, the image, the greatest asset, and I know a lot of sisters don't like this to hear this, but this ain't our cultural value system. So we're in an oppressive culture. the greatest asset that women bring into the relation dynamic is their appearance. How you look determines your value in this dynamic that people call the marketplace now. They quoting Samuelist stuff in saying that, right? But so the epitome of that is models. So everybody with Instagram and social media act like they a model now. They walk around, they post, they doing pictures. I see a lot of sisters just hold the phone and they don't even say anything. They just do that for 30 seconds and then boop, it ends. Like, damn, everybody's a model now. Even people who would never even be considered a model, everybody's a model, right? Aspirational delusions. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it is what it is. So we look at that world. I look at models back in the day. I'm of a certain age, and I actually modeled, believe it or not, for GQ magazine many years ago, coming out of high school. And I think of people like, some of my favorites were Beverly Pill, Iman, Naomi Campbell and all of that. But when I looked at those people and I juxtaposed them to people like Rashumba, if you can remember Rashumba, if you remember Rashumba, her imagery at the time, did I think Rashumba was the most beautiful? No. But did I have the most loyalty and respect to her? Yes. Because I wanted her to win, because at that time, there wasn't a person, there wasn't a black model who was dark chocolate, which we know the darker you become, the more the system oppresses you, right? And no disrespect to light people, because they get a whole different type of in the middle oppression. But the system is designed to, the closer you are to white, the more privileges you get. The further you are away from that in your phenotype, the more challenges you get. So Rashumba came out at a time, her look, her hair, everything about her at that time, there was not a model like that. And so there was a group of us as men, because I remember being close with a lot of my friends, David Austin and a lot of us, we were into Style. We were into this show called Style. It was in the early 90s. In the later 90s, it became popular, but when it first came out, we were like, yo, we watching Style, and brothers like, what the hell is Style? Like, he's like, it's this show, and it's telling you about fashion and culture around the world. Nobody was really on that at the time. But anyway, the point I'm making is that Rashumba was a symbol of beauty that was very different than Naomi Campbell, very different than Beverly Pill, very differently than Beverly Johnson, and even Iman, who we knew was African. Still, Rashumba was different than that, because her imagery with her hair and all of that was unmistakably black, right? So we had this admiration and respect for her, almost a loyalty to her that was greater than these other models. But even in that comparison with Rashumba to all those models, and I'm not being divisive and trying to pit people against one another, I'm illustrating a point that I'm making. When you look at somebody like Beth Ann Hardison, who had a black modeling agency at a time when all you had to go to Ford, or you had to go to wherever these modeling companies in order to get work. She's like, I'm going to establish my own. And even though they did have some white models, it was known in the industry that this was the black modeling agency. And so the point that I'm making, Alvin Ailey did the same thing. The point that I'm making is, if you can't own, you don't get the ultimate respect, admiration, the ultimate reverence and loyalty. So if you can't own your own imagery, when imagery is the highest standard of the woman, unfortunately, in this space and time, you don't get the loyalty. You don't get the reverence. The majority of black women don't own their own image. They are appropriating someone else's image. Their hair is of the Indian woman. Their dress style is of the white woman. They can't wait to call out Chanel or Fendi or whoever, and then they want loyalty for their value. Never going to happen. You don't own or generate anything that is worthy, comparable, or respectable. Men want this respect and admiration for the fact that they exist in the world, and they are salty because a lot of other men, specifically their largest oppressive group, gets the respect. So in the manosphere trope right now, you're hearing a lot of brothers saying something that I think is excellent. Talk to black men like you talk to your white boss. When you have challenges with him, talk to him the way you do your supervisor at work, and your relationships will work tremendously better. I actually agree with that ideology and philosophy. I think it's brilliant to say, because it is a checkmate to women who try to postulate that, oh, they just can't control their anger and they just traumatized and whatever. We all are equally traumatized. So no disrespect to anyone's individual traumatization, but we all are traumatized. That is the point that I'm making, right? But even within that, the reason you act accordingly on your job is because in your mind, the job has immediate and dangerous consequences. So you may want to kill somebody, but you put on your best behavior, even in your disenchantment and your dissatisfaction. But then when you come home, you let that all go. And then I'm going to talk to you crazy as hell because I'm angry and I've been dealing with shit at the job all day. And this is what clients say with us in sessions. You know it. This is what people say to you in arguments. I'm tired of this. I'm at the job all day. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with the children. I'm dealing with this. And because they don't see a real consequence for you, black man. What are you going to do? Even though I agree that you offer the greatest protection, the potential greatest love, and all of those things to your women, you're not the provider of their salaries. They could actually, with the exception of emotional aggrandizement and sex, they can actually get everything they want without you, vice versa. And so what we do is, what we have in our pop culture is a tapping in and a tapping out to get that occasional sex and aggrandizement, but we're not able to maintain a high level of admiration and respect for men and a high level of reverence and loyalty for women. And what we are suggesting at the Acoma House Initiative Culturally Based Counseling and Consulting Firm is that the reason that is happening is because the over-oppressive system that is called the global system of racism, white supremacy, not that white people are supreme, that's what the system is called, because that's how it values things. The closer you are to white, the more supreme you are. I want to be clear, because silly people say, oh, white people are not supreme. We agree, but that's what the name of their system is called. And we have to use agreed upon language so we create the greatest understanding. We can't call it other things that it doesn't operate in that way. The way the system operates, it puts white as the most right, regardless of whom or what. We're seeing that right now in Israel, right? So if that system is in play, black man, and it's oppressing you, it's like a person on the playground in junior high, the one who gets his ass kicked the most, the one who has the least to share, the one who is the most destitute, wanting the most respect. Not going to happen. Sister, if you're on the playground in 8th grade and you buy the outfit of what the pretty girl had, you change your hair and try to make it like the pretty girl, you alter yourself to try to look like the pretty girl, and then say you want the most loyalty and reverence, it's not going to happen. So although we strive to not talk that black stuff and get the bag and all of this other stuff that we're delusionally, the new trope that I love, I'm breaking intergenerational curses. Intergenerational curses is not wealth. It's unity. It's identity. The greatest intergenerational curse we have is not how much money we have. It's the inability to have our own identity. That's why we don't have no respect in the world from other groups of people. I understand why now. I'm not attacking us and I'm not finger wagging to us. I understand why we are this way. And it's not our fault, quote unquote, but it is our responsibility to change. We don't have respect in the world. People I'm demanding respect. The political season is up right now. And people are like, we're going to use our vote and we're going to demand that our needs get. Votes don't get needs met. Money do. That's why all the lobbyists controls who even becomes the candidate. Black people are the only group that doesn't have a financial lobby that advocates for their exclusive concerns. And we think we could vote people in? Nobody respects us politically. So I agree with all of these pundits that's out here saying we shouldn't be Democrats or Republicans. I agree. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and none of these Democrats are better than Donald Trump. They are the same disease. It's the same coin. We have a political immaturity that everyone understands behind the scenes, so therefore we get no respect and we get no loyalty. You can see this in any area of human interaction. We can see it in economics. We can see it in education. We can see it in entertainment. We can see it in fashion. We can see it in food. We can see it in health. We can see it in labor. We can see it in law. We can see it in politics. We can see it in religion. We can see it in sex. We can see it in war. Nobody is going to be loyal to you and hold you in reverence if you're the weakest person with the most confused identity. And nobody is going to give you the admiration and respect if you are the one who's getting your ass kicked the most on the geopolitical playground. So we're never going to get that. If you can funnel what I'm saying from a macrocosmic level down to the microcosmic relationship of the intimate relationship of black men and women, we are never going to get the reverence and loyalty that we deserve, black women, when we are beatnik like valuing Italian designers and Fendi, Gucci, lace front, Indian hair, whatever. Why would I be loyal to you? I'll just go to the person who you actually trying to look like. And I will never get the admiration and respect when, black man, I'm riding through a reality. I'm in Yalty, Pennsylvania right now. In my community, I'm at places, riding on roads, across buildings, industry, and all of this that the oppressive man has built. And for all the respect that we want, we haven't built anything. That is never going to happen. And this is the conversation that very few people who are talking about the intimate love relationships can even articulate, because it's a deeper water. It's a truth. And I challenge anybody who says this is not what it is. I challenge you. I can show it to you historically, culturally, statistically, and every other dynamic. This is why we have gotten farther away from our effective relationships, because we've gotten farther away from our cultural identity. And you know it's true. If you're of a certain age, all you got to do is go back to a couple generations ago. Why were black families together? We had communities. We don't have communities now. We have neighborhoods, and we hardly even have neighborhoods. We just have hoods. We don't have neighbors. You can't walk down streets now and know people by their family name like you used to. You can't walk down streets and see everybody out in their front cleaning up and wanting their place to look with a certain level of dignity. Francis Cress Welsing said, Only a people who lack self-respect live in communities with garbage all around. And we actually go every day and add to it and just throw stuff down. And our rationale is, look at it. It's already crazy as hell. What is one more bottle going to do? Or what one more tissue going to do? Right? And so we have these ideologies. But then we're wondering why in the intimate micro relationship, we can't get this reverence and loyalty. We can't get this admiration and respect. And I'm suggesting that the undergirding principle is the proverbial elephant that nobody wants to talk about, the elephant in the room. How do we dismantle this global system that is oppressing us? Until we can address that, you might as well say reverence and loyalty is out the window, black woman. Just be delusional. Reverence yourself and be loyal to your own self. But you ain't even doing that because you don't even like the way you look naturally. And that's no offense. I know you've been conditioned and I know you've been victimized into that thinking. And I acknowledge the fact that many of you are swinging that pendulum back because you started to see perming your hair and other things is actually killing you. So salute to you all. I understand. Similarly for men, hey, listen, I have an LLC. A Coleman House Initiative just celebrated its 16th year of business. We got businesses and we doing different things and we're making marginal impact at best. I'm saying myself as well. But in comparison to the systems that are oppressing us, they're minute. And so it's very difficult psychologically. If we value what the oppressor values, we will always be in a position where we have less of it, so we'll get the least amount of respect. So a part of the thing we have to do on the thought level is have a totally new value system where we value something else. We actually value what they don't have. That's instantly how you can start to change the respect, because you value something that he not only doesn't have, he can't actually have it. That instantly puts you in a different realm of respect. And so that is a knowledge base and an understanding base and a wisdom base that is the first thing. But again, I digress. This is that conversation that a lot of people want to stay away from, that black shit. I just want to get the bag and be Fendi'd out or Gucci'd out or whatever, Saint Laurent out or whatever. Driving German cars, driving Italian cars, wearing Italian shoes, having this and that. But then I want respect for me as a black man. Never going to happen. Sisters, same thing. I got Indian people's hair. I got my face made up to look as much like a white woman as I can. My entire outfit, my entire closet says that a white woman is more important than me. I challenge anybody, even black women who claim they into fashion, name 10 independent black designers, not black people who work at white fashion houses, 10 independent black designers. I guarantee you the majority of them cannot do it. You ain't gonna get no loyalty and no reverence. You don't even like what you are. You don't even want to be it. You don't want to be with what you are. And then you want me to be loyal to that? It's never going to happen. So if we can understand this from a geopolitical level, a spiritual, cultural level, then it can funnel down, filter through our social level of the dynamic of black men and women. We can overturn this, y'all. This is very fixable. And in African culture, there is no problem that doesn't have a solution to it. If we would honestly look at this, and I really want to hear your opinions on what I'm saying, if we would honestly look at this and begin to employ strategies, not talking points or not advice, but true strategies. Martin Luther King showed us some. Malcolm X showed us some. Many people, Sojourner Truth, Fannie Lou Hamer, Phyllis Wheatley. We can go through these 12 areas of human interaction, and there is already blueprints for how to dismantle this system. but it requires an uncompromising behavior. The bus boycott, for one, you know, the Mississippi and Alabama bus boycotts, it requires a certain level of discipline and unwavering commitment that people have all kinds of justifications not to do. Well, I'm not going to go first. And what if I do it and nobody else does it? And all of this stuff. That stuff was a greater oppositional force socially and theoretically then, and they still did it. Because just like at the job, with the metaphor I used earlier, they understand the consequences of not doing it. And we have lost that understanding. And as a result, we are not getting the reverence and loyalty we deserve, black women, and we are not getting the admiration and respect we deserve, black men. And until we dismantle this system, I want you to know and understand, not only are you not going to get it, you actually don't deserve it. Because you haven't earned it. You deserve it in your nature, but you haven't nurtured the execution of it. You can say you demand respect, but in truth, respect is earned. You can say you demand loyalty and it's on my list, but if you haven't earned loyalty, you're not going to get it. What would make you earn loyalty and reverence? What would make you earn respect and admiration? It begins with accepting your own and being yourself in your thought, your speech, and your social interaction. Akame akoma, nia akoma, akoma wo mu, akoma intuaso.